Alaikum and welcome back everyone. In last lecture we have seen JWT based authentication. That was our last topic from server side. We will perform server side testing using automated testing tools just like Selenium or SOAP UI at the end of our course. If you are familiar with these tools, then you can perform this testing at your own now. As we know, full stack development deals with uh, three layers: data access layers, uh, business logic layers, and presentation layer. In data access layer, we have studied MongoDB. In business logic layer, we have studied Node.js and Express as our business logic layer implementation. Now we are moving towards our presentation layers. We can create SPAs, single page applications, using different frameworks or library, just like Angular, React, or any other tool. We can have Umber, we can have Vue.js, or any other framework or library. In this course, as committed, we will study Angular as well as React for our front end development. So we will start with our Angular. In Angular, we will see the basics of Angular today, uh, just an introduction. Then we will move, before studying in depth about the Angular, we will move towards ES6 and ES7 syntaxes that are required to implement code, and then we will study the TypeScript first. After TypeScript, we will create an application. Today's lecture is still TypeScript implementations and its variable declaration functions, how to declare the functions, how to declare the classes, interfaces. So today's lecture is more about the basics of Angular. In our next lecture, we will we will see how to create a sample app, what will be the structure of that application, and we will discuss those concepts in detail. So let's start. Basically, Angular is a framework. As we have discussed in our class that the difference between a library and a framework, so we can safely say Angular is a complete framework which enables you to code into that framework or structure which Angular has provided to you. It is basically designed for single page application. So actually one page application will be loaded, and your component will be loaded into that single page application. It is basically used for client side technologies, client side views, as it is meant for the presentation layer. It has many new concepts which will be very new for you, so those concepts need to be concentrated and studied in depth. Those are, although those are object oriented concepts, but there are some advanced level of object oriented concepts in it also. Angular, currently it is 9.1 version, which has been launched last month in March. Uh, uh, I think so, 20 or 23 of the March. Angular 9.1 has been launched, so we will use that Angular 9.1 and its concept. Keep in mind, it is not Angular JS. It is actually Angular. I have seen companies advertising for a developer of Angular JS. Angular JS was the first Angular JS was the first version of Angular. That was Angular 1. We sometimes say it Angular 1 or Angular JS. After that, after Angular 2, uh, the whole structure of Angular has been changed. The concepts has been totally changed. So Angular JS has a different concepts, and Angular has a different concept, and Angular JS has been obsoleted way back. So actually we are studying Angular, not the Angular JS. Angular JS was the first version of this Angular. a complete rewrite with no backward compatibility. So keep in mind, your code written in Angular will not work on Angular JS, or vice versa, because the concepts are different. There were controllers and many other such concepts, though that was the part of Angular JS. If you still search something on the internet, you will get Angular JS concepts, which are not basically the relatively new concepts. Angular versions comes into the market after every 4 5 months or 6 months, so it is rapidly under development. Google is working on it very extensively, taking advantage of advance in web technologies such as ES6 and ES7. Basically, Angular uses ES6 syntax, ES7 syntax, and TypeScript also. And webworks and web components, these are also the concepts we will study it. So actually these ES6, ES7 and TypeScripts are different variations. ES6 and ES7, you may know that it is a variation of JavaScript. What you have studied in your first part of web engineering course, you have studied ES5, and after ES5 was object based language. Then there came object oriented language, that was ES6, and then we have some very advanced concept of object oriented in ES7. So we will see today the concepts of ES6 and ES7, and the TypeScript, that is a specific language for our Angular, we will also study today. So what is this ES5, ES6 or ES7? So let's start from these concepts in Angular and React. What are these concepts? ES6 and ES7 has some specific features which are available in Angular. We don't use it in React. So first I will explain you these concepts, then I will explain the concepts that are available in React and Angular both. The first concept is of decorator, configurable decorators, and second is of the module, concept of module. So let's see the concept of decorator. Decorator is just like an annotation in Java. It actually does not change the behavior of the class, but it provides some meta information about that class. Actually it doesn't change any code into the class, but it provides some information about that class. Like if I write the class below this code, like at the rate component, it shows that it is a decorator of type component, and the selector for this decorator will be app dash root. The template URL for this component will be this one, and the styles URL will be this one. And after this we will declare the class. Actually the class will not be representing that it is a component or module or etc. Only the decorator will provide the information that it is the purpose of this of the class. So it provides a meta information about that class. It is just like an annotation in Java. These decorators can be at different levels. We have 4 levels. We will study it while we will studying the basic concepts of Angular, all the concepts of Angular. So the basic concept today, which is required to be understand, that decorator is basically meta information about the class, which we will pass with the class to the calling object. The second concept is of module. Module is just a container class in our Angular application. Module is the base which contains other components in it, which contains services in it, which contains directives in it, and many other information. Module is basically a container which contains different functionalities, just like in our project which we have studied, which we have seen them and implemented in our REST API. We have defined the module. The concept of module is basically a container. So here the concept of module is also a container. Then there are some concepts which will be which is of ES6 and ES7, but it will be used in Angular as well as in React. So let's start. The first thing is class. After ES5, ES6 and ES7 is basically a class based language, object oriented language. So you can define the classes, you can define the constructors, you can instance properties, initializers, methods, inheritance, and all the concepts which we have in object oriented programming. We can use those concepts in our ES6 and ES7. So class is one thing. Second, let and constant, uh, as in our default ES5, we use var for the variable declaration, but we can use let also. Let has a block level scope. At the level of it, for example, if we define let at this level of block, it will execute in this block only. If true, let a, we are defining this variable into if block. So after if we console.log a, it will say us undefined, because this let is not available outside the if block. So the first thing, let has a basically scope. And the constant, you know, the constant is the constant value which will not be changed throughout the program, and it will remain fixed. Like we are declaring a is equal to 50, and if we say if we assign a as 60 within our program, it will give us an error that you cannot change the value. That is the concept of constant. Then a new concept of arrow functions. First, in ES5 we wrote the function in this way: function, the name of the function, and we declare and define the function in this part. While the new syntax is little different. We have an arrow and the declaration of a function, and these are the parameters that will be passed to the function. Just like in this case, if you see a and b is passing a parameter to this function, and you can work in, and this function is assigning to a variable. So this is a new way out of declaring a function. This is called arrow function. uh, Output has no difference. There is no difference at all in shape of parameter passing or execution of the function. Just the syntax has been changed. Now normally we use an arrow function. Default parameters in ES6, we if we pass a parameter to a function, and uh, if we provide only one parameter, then that parameter will be assigned to the first one only. Second one, parameter, for example, in this case, default parameters are parameters which are given by default while declaring a function, but its value can be changed when calling the function. For example, let function a comma b equal to 10. We are defining b is equal to 10 at the as a default parameter. If the user will not provide b, then this 10 will move on. Like function 20, now 20 will be assigned to a, and b will carry the value of 10, so the output will be a plus b 30. So this function will execute. In this case, we are defining a default value of 10 and b. In this case, if we are passing 20, the 20 will be assigned to a, but nothing will be assigned to b. So there is an error, not a number. B is not a number, not defined. So a plus b will provide us an error, nan. Same, there is a for loop in our ES6. This for loop is for let value of array. Now this value will pick one element at a time and work as a loop. So it will output every element like 2 3 4 1. So it value, we are just logging value. So what it will do, it will pick one first index element, then second index element, then third, and then fourth, and it will print out those elements. Same, it can work on a strings also. This is a string, and we can use this loop, for loop, on strings also. So it will pick character by character of the string and display it into our output. So this is a new function for, which can work on arrays as well as on strings. Then the spread function actually converts the input, function input, into, if we are providing in shape of array, it will convert into a parameters, and if we are providing the parameters, it can convert into array. The way out of defining this spread function is dot 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 triple dot. Triple dot means we are converting the input into an array. So if the user is passing arguments like 6 arguments, 5 arguments, so we are converting those arguments into an array. So we can access those elements as an array, and we can use the loop which we have studied in our last slide on these parameters. Then the map actually, key value pair, holds the key value pair. We can assign something into the map.set, like the key and the value, it will overwrite. We cannot have duplicate key, we should have a unique key. So in this case, map.set name John, map.set name Andy. Andy will replace John in our map function. So actually we can have only identical keys only. So this example is given, map.get name Andy, not John is note John is replaced by Andy. Same, map.get 1 has number 1. Okay, and map.set nan, no value. So nan is the key. So we are displaying the key, and it is showing a no value. Map.size, it is showing us a size of 3, name, I, and nan. So these are all the map.keys. You can print out the keys, you can print out the values only, and you can do a for loop on this map function. So these are all different options which can be performed on map. This is a built-in key value pair, just like an array, not just like an array that is basically associate array, just like an associate array. In the set we don't have the indexes. Remaining we can assign the values. Sets.add, we are adding a, we are setting b. Sets.add a, we are adding duplicate values. So it will not contain the duplicate value, it will only display the two values, a and b. It will not contain the duplicate value. So we can insert different values into an array, into a sets. So this is also a new information, new function that is available, new set, you can call that function. Then the static method, you may have studied in your object-oriented programming. The static method can be called without initiating the object of the class. So you can directly call that method without creating the object. So we have the same concept in this ES6. Getter and setter function, this is again the concept of classes. In a class we can set a get method and a set method for a private member function or private member variable. So these are all the concept of ES6 and ES7 that will be required to start coding into Angular and React. Now we will see a TypeScript, and then we will do hands-on with the TypeScript also. So what is a TypeScript? TypeScript is an open source language that is superset of JavaScript and developed by Microsoft. It is, keep in mind, it is a superset of JavaScript. With the ES6 port, it transpiles the information into ES5 or ES6. We will see what a transpile is. It is a strongly typed language, just not like JavaScript. JavaScript was loosely typed language. It is strongly typed language, and class-based means it is an object-oriented language. So we have CLI for that, to run the code, and we write our code in TypeScript in a file with the extension TS. Actually, TypeScript is a combination of JavaScript with the types, with the classes, with the modules, and many other information. So here we are. ES5 is our JavaScript. The superset is ES6. Then we have ES7, and then we have a TypeScript, which is a superset of all this language. Can be compiled into a plain ES5 or ES6. Why TypeScript? Because it avoids runtime errors of assigning types. It is strictly due to it is strictly type programming language, and typically our object-oriented languages don't allow loosely typed languages to be used, because those languages can provide a runtime errors. So those type of languages are not good in shape of object oriented programming in such applications. So TypeScript is basically a strictly typed language. TypeScript allows us to define classes, interfaces, generics, modules, types, definition, etc. It is not a replacement of JavaScript, but an extension of JavaScript with strictly typed language, strictly typed data sets. It actually transpiles because TypeScript is directly not runnable in our browsers. So we have to convert our TypeScript into JavaScript, and that is called transpiling. Converting our TypeScript code into JavaScript code, that is called transpiling. Moreover, it has static checking, symbol based navigation, statement completion, then code refactoring. These are all the features of TypeScript. Um like what I was explaining is basically this thing transpiling. It is an example of transpiling. We will write a myscript.ts. Our TypeScript will transpile it into myscript.js that will be of ES5. Keep in mind these has the classes while ES5 has no classes. So we will see how it converts a class into ES5 syntax. So internally it will convert that thing class into a prototype elements. Just like an example, if we see a class and method and an implementation of TypeScript, if we see the transpiled code, we can see that this is a prototype functions, prototype elements, which has been converted in case of classes. So this is ES5 code, which is difficult to write in our natural our ES5 coding. So it is better to write the classes, which is easier to write us to easier for us to write. So we will use TypeScript, and it will be transpiled into ES5 to run on the browser. So we will start TypeScript in our next part of our lecture. Thank you.